Hello, everyone, and welcome to Your Career 2.0 Launchpad, hosted by the Entrepreneur's Source. I'm Kirsten Gutierrez, and today I have Jennifer Smith and Mark Thomas with us. Can we start with just kind of getting to know each of you, please?
I guess I'll start. My name's Mark Thomas. I'm a coach, a career transition coach or career ownership coach, if you will, with the Entrepreneur Source. I've been doing this for about 7 years, and I work with individuals that are open to exploring new possibilities for their career, including self employment and business ownership.
Awesome.
Right.
Jennifer.
Hi, yes, I am Jennifer Smith. I am the uh, owner of two open locations and hopefully a third in the future of the Exercise Coach. It is now the number one personal training brand in the US. Um, I guess something about me, I always loved fitness, had a passion for fitness, and my husband actually has joined along and he's part of this journey with me as well.
That's great to hear. Now, before we jump into your journey, Mark, tell us a little bit about what the Entrepreneur's Source is and what they do for people looking for new jobs and careers.
Sure, happy to. To start with, and very briefly, our company, the Entrepreneur Source, we've been in business going on 36 years now. And as I mentioned, we work with individuals that typically have worked in corporate America, if you will, most of their career, but maybe something has changed for them, or perhaps they've always had an interest or curiosity around doing something on their own someday, but weren't sure where to start or even if it was the right next step for them. And that's where I may be of service. And as a coach, what I offer is complimentary, no cost coaching to help people learn more about self employment and business ownership. And that's precisely what I did for Jennifer. Jennifer had just recently transitioned out of a job. She was looking to do something new and different. And fortunately, we crossed paths, and I was able to help her uh, eventually move into the business that she just described.
Jennifer, tell
Yeah.
us your journey. I understand you had a hard time during the pandemic. You want to walk us through what happened?
Yeah. I'll go a little bit into, my background. Always had been corporate America, was in the automotive industry for a while, transitioned to the aerospace industry, was, having a pretty good career trajectory. And yeah, the pandemic happened where I was. We were, making, parts for Boeing, Airbus, et cetera. And there was a reduction and I was impacted, and it was the first time I think in, oh goodness, 20 years I had ever been unemployed. um and I said, oh, just really was like, hey, let me be open, to new ideas and options. And Mark actually reached out to me on LinkedIn, and like you just said, he just said, hey, let's explore past. I looked at his background, thought it was really interesting, and told me it was a free service. Well, oh yeah, okay, this is great. So yeah, I was just kind of open to the idea at that point, knowing that the trajectory I was on, there was good things about it, but there were at the I have to say, I also didn't realize until that happened, that I was I was starting to burn out. I was tired, and I had changed, right? I think I had started to change as a person in terms of where I wanted to go and what I wanted out of life. And that was, it was helpful, again, listening to Mark, for someone that was in a different path than I had ever had a chance to speak with. So yeah.
That's awesome. And such a scary time at the same time during
Hmm.
the pandemic, all the unknowns, and the first time in 20 years. What, I guess, kind of was a turning point in that process that you were like, I know you mentioned you were burned out, but knowing that, I'm going to take Mark's advice. Like, how did that relationship grow and blossom into what you're doing today? Like,
Yeah.
how is his influence impacting your career?
Sure. I mean, there was a lot of patience, I have to say, on Mark's part, right? Just, again, giving me a different option. We explored before I settled on this. I think I talked to maybe six or so different franchises. First, I didn't want a brick and mortar. I was, no, no, no. And then I was trying to still stick to what I was doing before somewhat. And, but part of that exploration process, I got to speak to different franchises, meet to different people. And then when I, came along and I spoke to, the exercise coach, I mean, it was just not it's not just the concept and the strategy and the brand, but I liked the people and I wanted to be one of them, and I could see myself being one of them. As well as just the amount of there's you get the franchise, you get the operational system to everything that, and the detail that they had gone into all of those things. It just really, again, especially being my first business on my own, right? I felt like I could bring my personal fitness experience as well as my experience running a manufacturing operation, right? But then marry it with everything that they had. So giving me the confidence to have a pretty good likelihood of success. They were open about information. They were open about letting us talk to other franchisees. Me and another person that opened in California, we went to Arizona. We visited another exercise coach. It was great. It was just, it ticked all the boxes of what I was looking for in terms of my passion, as well as, again, something I felt like I could run this business and be successful at it.
That's great. Glad to hear it. Now, Mark, turning to you now, what's kind of your process when seeking entrepreneurs like Jennifer and helping them get to where they need to be? Can you kind of explain how that works and how your relationship with Jennifer panned out?
Yeah, and yes, I can. So our approach is not to try and sell a client a business. To the contrary, we're a resource. We're less transactional than you might imagine. We're more about providing education and awareness around different possibilities. So our approach is to learn as much as we can about the client. We have a process, if you will, that helps us understand not only where our client has been professionally, but what they're trying to do at this point in their career. What's important to them from an income standpoint, from a business lifestyle perspective, what other needs and expectations they may have. And then with that background and understanding, we set out to look for business models that we think would be a good fit for the client based on their criteria. So
Yeah.
um, my my approach from the beginning is to be an advocate for my client. I don't presume to know uh, what will be best for them. Only they will learn that as they go through what we call a discovery process. And in that course, Jennifer alluded to it, we started out looking at three distinct business models in a very different areas, different business categories than where she ended up. And our process helped her get to that point of clarity. And so that's the approach we take. It's more, as I said, more information, education, and sometimes it leads the client to finding that perfect business, and they end up going in that direction. And sometimes it doesn't. And either way, it's perfectly fine for me as a coach.
Yeah.
Jennifer?
I wanna yeah, so what Mark didn't know, at the time. He was the first one to reach out to me, but at the same time, I got contacted by 2 other, different organizations, not TES, and the just because I was curious, again, I was curious, I was open, I didn't know, I'm like, "Well, who do I really know Mark? Is this give the best thing for me?" And those other experiences were not favorable. I just um one person was, it was like I thought I was just trying to sell me. Another person, it was okay. It was okay. But I don't think he had necessarily the pedigree of experience and the depth that Mark brought. As well, again, it was very, I appreciated the no pressure. It was just asking me the right questions at the right time or pointing me to the right resource, at the right time. So that was, helpful. Again, this was brand new to me. So something, I was, trying to get through, what do I need to worry about and what do I not need to worry about? Through, that process, make sure I was keeping the priorities, appropriate. Like some of the things, example, and this is a detail, but hey, okay, well, you own your own business, well, you have to hire people, right? You have to have a good staff. And I was just really worried about this. Oh my gosh, am I going to find the right staff? And then I think at some point I was just like, well, wait a minute. That's going to be a problem in any business. Like, heck, I had this problem in my current business. So I go, I had the skills and the tools, and it would be, it would get resolved, right? So that wasn't a thing I need to worry about. What I need to worry about is, hey, I'm signing an agreement for 10 years. I got to make sure that I have confidence in that structure, that operation, and also not where they are, but their plan, their strategy, and where they're going.
Would you recommend TES to other entrepreneurs who are struggling or who are having similar issues or went through similar life changes that you did?
Yeah, I have. Every time, because there was a lot of layouts going on. I think I was like, I've tried to send a couple people Mark's way, and I said, hey, just doesn't hurt. You've got a time in your life, right, just to evaluate, what you want to do. Just put this on the list. It doesn't. It's not costing you anything, right? And it's hard, for people. You get the comfort zone of having what they've known. Even with my parents are still struggling with what I did, because they always have worked at the same place for so many years. And so it's like, okay, how do you have these people that are used to doing this certain thing in one year, and then you're on this other side saying, hey, there are things and there are success stories out there, right? I think that's why we're doing, there are success stories out there. So it is possible. It is possible. It's not it might it's not necessarily going to be the easiest path, but right now I'm the most fulfilled. And I brought up my husband, he's the most fulfilled. I mean, we come home, we are enjoying, right? We talk our stories about our clients, we talk about the strategy. It's a good, and we work out, we're in better shape. So it's a win-win for us. So, yeah. Mhm.
That's always good. And life balance, life work balance, excuse me, is always
Mhm.
something that you should strive for. So that's great to hear that's where you are now. And turning to Mark, how did you become a career ownership coach?
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to transition from employment to self employment. I didn't have the benefit of a coach or the coaching service that we offer through TES. Um, and it was a scary transition for me, as it is for most people. And when I learned of TES and the service they offer, it really resonated for me because, as I said, I went through it once before on my own. Um, and so I thought I would be a good candidate as a coach because I'd gone through it and I understood the process. And I really saw the value proposition that TES is offering. And so I be, became a TES coach and have never looked back. I've often reflected on my decision to become a TES coach, and I've told people that I wish I'd learned of this a long time ago, earlier in my career, because that I would have definitely jumped on it. But I thoroughly enjoy the work. It's very rewarding, and uh, as I said, it's been a good experience for me and for my clients.
Awesome. And I was just going to ask, are you fulfilled?
Very much so. I it's there's an element of giving back to the community. I work with people all over the country. It happens that Jennifer and I are both from California, or located in California. So, but that wasn't the connection initially. I'm able to do this with folks all over the country. In fact, outside of the country, even. It's been a great experience for me. In fact, I've encouraged others to look at this as a possible career option for them. And I brought a couple people into the TES family as a result.
Twofold there, helping others get employed by TES and then helping others become their own owners.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And Jennifer, where are you today? People are probably going to wonder, what are you doing today?
Yeah, yeah. I am actually in our first studio that launched. So to the timeline, I think Mark, it was pretty quick. Mark and I started talking. It really was 2 years, about May 2020,
Right.
And he, I think I ended up signing in the end of July, early August. Then we were opened our first studio in March of 2020. We were ready to go. We have had, over 100 clients at the first location, and then we just opened the location in January, about 8 miles east of here. So in Claremont, California. So that's going great. We've signed like I think 80 to 90 clients there as well so far. So we still have growth to do. But we definitely are, yeah, optimistic. Again, going back to the exercise, we just went to the exercise coach conference. There's more innovation coming. They're making more, improvements all the time. And Yeah, yeah, yeah. That I think that yeah, that's where I am today, and at some point we have a third one, hopefully in the future. But I guess the other thing too is we jumped on the bandwagon with exercise. We were the first location in California, and now we got the conference. We got to meet all the other California owners. That's another thing about the franchise. You meet all these owners from all over the U.S. And now there's a good group of owners in California. They're just another support and resource. It's like you build your own. I don't know if it's network. It's a nicer word than a network, just a network, right? But just a new circle, of friends that you have things in common with. So yeah.
And when you reflect on, where you were in 2020 to where you are now, did you ever imagine this was a possibility?
No. No, I already knew I was starting to lose some, motivation, and I invested a lot in what I had been doing. But everybody that, I knew, and everybody told me, I was surprised how many people had gone through that type of story, and they said everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And that's exactly the way, that I look at it. And I actually tell this story to our clients. They ask, how did I do this? And I said, this is how it happened. I always had hoped or wanted to own my own business. That would always been something in my head, but I just never knew how. I never knew what or how. So this is how this service was helpful. It helped me find the what and the how, to in a way, look, I was able to do it, pretty much in less than 12 months. So yeah.
That is awesome. And Mark, to wrap things up here, do you have any advice for those who might be struggling or going through a similar situation that Jennifer went through?
Yeah, I would encourage anybody to explore their options and allow themselves to learn about different possibilities. And Jennifer is very typical of my clients and most of our clients. They typically don't know what they want to do, whether they can even do it, and that's perfectly fine. We really cast a broad net. We don't presume to know what's best for our client. We help them discover that through a well-heeled process, if you will. And it's all about, as I said, education and awareness. And through this journey, um, we kind of learn together what could be the best option for the client. And as I said, very often it results in what you've heard from Jennifer. Occasionally it does not, but regardless, it's a wonderful service and a way to learn about different possibilities that you may not even know are available to you.
Possibilities are endless. Jennifer, anything else before we go?
I would just say thank you. Thank you, Mark. Right. Thank you guys for the time. And now, just so you know, my husband and I, our goal where it is to become the number one franchise in California, if not in the system. So, we're setting our sights to go even to the next step now. And I guess also too, like my day versus where it was filled with reports and results and everything. Like my day started off this morning with talking to a client that after been here for 6 months, her blood work is better, her cholesterol is better, she can move and enjoy life better. I mean, that is just, it's, I can go home thinking about that, not about whether I made the month or the quarter or whatever it is. So That's if you find the right model that works for you, right? That's what you want to feel every day.
Thank you, Jennifer and Mark, for joining Your Career 2.0 Launchpad. We are so lucky to have you guys on this podcast, and I hope you guys reach the endless success. And Jennifer, good luck with your goals, becoming number one in California. I hope so. Mark, good luck with your clients. Thank you.
Thank you.